Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. I'm Hamza Idris. On Tidbits tonight, Kaduna, Kogi and Zamfara states have taken the federal government to the Supreme Court to challenge the planned stoppage of issuing the redesigned Naira notes by February 10, 2023. The states are seeking an order from the Apex Court to actually stop the federal government and CBN from stopping the policy. There has been a shortage of the new notes in the states, making it difficult for citizens to access the new currency to carry out their daily activities. The Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, is the sole respondent in the case, which was filed by the three state governors. While no hearing date has been set yet, the states are asking for an interim injunction to actually stop commercial banks, the CBN, all their agents from ending the time frame within which to stop issuing the old and new Naira notes. And still on tidbits, amid difficulties occasioned by Naira scarcity, some Nigerians stage a solidarity walk in Abuja and other places. Take a look.
Kasance a wannan waje tun karfe 5 na asuba kuma har yanzu ni ban samu namba na ba balatana ma a ce layi na yanzu.
I've been here since 5 a.m. but up to this moment I've not been issued a number, let alone joining the queue, because the rule here is that you must have a number first before joining the queue. I just need some cash to run my family.
Ya muna can wala saboda yanzu haka nan ko da abincinka ne ya gare a gida, even 5,000 zaka nema sai ka ci wala ta ka zo ka bi layi ko mara lafiya kake da shi.
We are facing a lot of problems. It is terrible because you have money but cannot access it. What type of policy is that? If, for instance, you run out of foodstuffs or come down with any health challenge, how will you address that?
The issue of vote buying is a major problem. It has destroyed Nigeria. It has destroyed the entire continent. And enough is enough. What we are saying here now is we are aware that the Central Bank of Nigeria has released money to all the banks. All the banks have money. But politicians are buying this money from them at a higher cost, at black market rate, thereby frustrating the citizens to go against CBN, to go against the government. We are saying no.
A situation where you have 2.7 trillion naira outside of the banking system
In the pockets of people.
held up in homes, at bunkers and everywhere does not augur well for the Nigerian economy. And that is the major reason why this Naira redesign. And we are saying that these monies should come back to the votes of the CBN and also permit the banking system so that we will be able to control the money supply in the system and also make our monetary policy very effective. And that is what we are doing. We are fully persuaded that what we are doing is for the benefit of the Nigerian people. We are very, very apolitical. We do not belong to any political persuasion. But what we know is that this is not targeted at anybody.
Yeah, and on today's topic of discussion, the Supreme Court has recognized Senate President Ahmad Lawan as the authentic candidate of the All Progressive Congress for Yobe North Senatorial District. The Apex Court's decision sacks Bashir Machina, who was earlier recognized by the Federal High Court in Damaturu, as well as the Court of Appeal in Abuja. The Apex Court's decision to sack Machina was earlier recognized, of course, by the court in Damaturu. And tonight on the program, we are joined by Barrister Sam Kagbo, a legal practitioner and a senior advocate of Nigeria. We also have Dr. Farouk Bibi Farouk, an expert in political economy from the University of Abuja, to discuss these very important topics, including the let's have a look at the report.
Today we are here at the Supreme Court, having concluded the judgment between Ahmed Lawan and Bashir Machina. We are very happy that the judgment favored the Senate President, that by God's grace, he has now finally been delivered as the winner in this court. And by God's grace, we are gleefully going back to our Zansi, our constituency, to deliver him as the most successful candidate by 2023 elections.
Today we are very happy and satisfaction over the Lava victory. We are describing it as a political journey. This is a sign of rule of law. Thank you very much. We are very happy for that.
Yes, that was it at the Supreme Court. But reacting to the verdict, the Senate President Ahmed Lawal described the judgment as democracy at work. The Senate President, who also commended the appeals court, also noted that he never approached the court to seek redress. Rather, his party and other well-wishers from across the world made it happen. Let's hear him.
What happened was democracy at work, and the courts gave their various judgments, and of course the Supreme Court gave the final judgment. I want at this point to commend the Supreme Court and in fact the judiciary generally for making this kind of judgment to strengthen our democracy. Because it's not only for politicians to work and strengthen democracy, it's for all of us, and all the institutions have some roles to play. So I commend the Supreme Court and the judiciary in general. I didn't, as a person, as an individual, go to the Supreme Court to seek for a redress. But my party did, and my people, the people of Yobe North and Yobe State generally, and many political associates and well-wishers and supporters across the country and beyond, who showed interest that there has to be an appeal at the Supreme Court on this matter. So today, this victory is for all of us involved. I am the symbol, but the victory is for our party, the APC, and for democracy.
Well, that was Senate President Ahmed Lawal. As I said earlier in the program, that we have Barrister Sam Kagbo, senior advocate of Nigeria, to actually shed light on some of these things. And we also have a political economist in the person of Dr. Bibi Farouk from the University of Abuja. Once again, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
But I'm tempted, you can see two major issues. Maybe we have to share at the time because Nigerians are out there growing. So maybe before we get to the subject matter of the day, I will have to maybe take your take on the happenings around the CBN. The governors, they went to the Supreme Court, not even the lower courts. Maybe I should start with Dr. Bibi Farouk before I get to the lawyer. Yes. Why do you think they went to court? Zamfara, Kogi, and Kaduna?
Well, for me, the entire drama is uncalled for, unnecessary, because there is nothing sufficiently important that will be achieved by putting deadline in the change of a currency, apart from chaos and waste of economy. When you can do this over a phased period of time, significantly, you see, I do not believe you can rule money out. You can just block money. You need to phase money, make people be able to realize the importance of dealing with money in a particular manner. Money is personal. Yeah. It's like coming to somebody's house and saying this is how he should treat his wife.
Wow.
Money is a property that you have already earned, and the government is deciding that this is how it wants it to happen.
How you should spend your money.
How you should spend your money.
How you should access it.
Yes, of course there are better ways. Nobody is against cashless policy. But I think this is the first time in the history of the world where these deadlines are put on an economy. Maybe the second time India tried something similar on some versions of their
And
currency.
we
And
actually
it was a
did a
disaster.
serious story on Sunday,
Yes.
you know, in our paper,
You know, it was a disaster.
on how other countries, because India didn't get it right.
Didn't get it right. So I do not, it's uncalled for. Why put the deadline? Why? Why not, you can introduce a change on a currency. Why target it towards politics? Do you think that you can take a political, an economic decision about your country and put it on top of a political decision of political parties? And you think that your vision is for the economy? The vision is just for the parties and for the drama that is happening for elections.
So as a teacher of political economy, meaning is shambles?
Yes, it has always been. I've always argued there is no need. There is need for cashless economy, but there is no need for deadline. And there is no need to target that policy towards politics. Even if it is going to affect politics positively, your aim is the economy, the long-term economy. So the target, this policy is about 2023 February election that we're waiting for. It has always been about that. That's what the president said. That's why he didn't consult anybody. That's why only him and the central bank governor talked about it. And the objective is there will be no money to conduct, to buy votes. Votes are not bought only by money.
Okay, I will come to that. Barrister, let me have your take from the legal perspective. These governors that approach the Supreme Court, they didn't even go to State High Court or Federal High Court. They went straight to the Supreme Court. Will it actually yield any result?
No, I can't answer it that way. The only thing I would say is that my guess is that they assume that they have a dispute with the federal government over the policy of the central government. The law says if there is a dispute between the state and the federal government, the court that has original jurisdiction over that dispute is the Supreme Court.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, so this is where they are coming from.
This is
because many Nigerians are asking that maybe they are jumping the gun.
No, they are not. They are not. No, that's their assumption. But my thought is that the central bank, the federal government, yes, it's an agency of the federal government, but the law that establishes it, it gives it some independence and gives it the power to regulate the money in a manner that would enhance both economic activity and economic development, not to retard the economy like the economist has told us, you know. I think so. But I think why they may be justified or why they have that conclusion is because of Mr. President's statement, giving himself the credit for the policy. And we've also seen the unheard of situation where the central bank governor would pick up a flight, fly to Daura, to meet Mr. President, to seek his authorization to do what he wants to do. So if the matter goes to court, it will be difficult for the federal government to say, oh, no, that's not my policy. It's the central bank's policy. Yeah, I'm just thinking aloud. Assuming I am representing the governors, I'm going to say, oh, no, you cannot. You've told us. I have evidence where you said that is your own policy. That's a tool you want to use to fight electoral corruption.
Yes.
And the central bank is just what? Acting on your own
directive,
bidding.
Because today I've seen, you know,
and the state governors have said your policy is not affecting us as the elite, but you're killing our people.
Oh my God.
And mind you, the what would they call it now? The duty, to protect the people in the state is that of the governors.
So they have locus.
You cannot say they don't have a locus. They do. You understand? They do.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just talking tentatively.
Exactly, yes.
But let me come back now on my thoughts.
Yes.
Never in my 60-something years have I even heard of this bizarre and ridiculous sort of a policy.
Wow.
You think overnight You can kill the economy to kill political corruption. That means you don't even know what you're doing.
Killing?
You kill the economy to kill political corruption. That gives me the impression that you have no idea about how corruption works.
Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. I'm Hamza Idris. Tonight on the program, we are joined by Engineer Buba Galadima, an ally of the presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. He is also a chieftain of the party. We will be discussing a wide range of topics, from the trending Naira scarcity and its effects on citizens and the economy, to issues within his party in the build-up to the February 25th presidential election, among many others. Welcome to the program, Engineer.
Thank you very much, Mala Hamza.
We are happy to have you in our studios after a very long time because of your tight schedules.
Thank you very much.
We'll go on a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. As I said, it is Engineer Buba Galadima in the studios. Once again, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Today, President Muhammadu Buhari met with Chairman of the Governors Forum, Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto, the Governor Atiku Bagudu, who is actually leading the governors of the APC, and then the CBN governor. Do you think this meeting will come out with maybe, let me say, a child with two eyes?
So, Mala Hamza, we in the NNPP had taken a very strong position on the issue of this redesigned currency and exchange. First of all, our decision was guided by the CBN Act, which says in an event where we want to redesign or recolor any of our currency, it should be done within a period of not less than 6 months.
Okay, that is the position of your party.
That's the position,
okay, the position
of the act of the CBN.
Okay.
Now, we are torn between two lines. The government said they are doing this because a lot of people have amassed wealth, all the currency in their private houses. Agreed.
You agree with that?
I agree.
How?
Because I know that there is a governor in the northwestern part of this country that has got, from intelligence, has got about 22 billion naira of the old currency.
What, Engineer?
22 billion of the old currency stacked in his house. As I speak,
a governor in the
governor in northwest.
Will you blow the?
No, no need. He knows himself.
And you know that he knows himself?
Yes, and the security agencies know.
But why are they not talking?
Because maybe they belong to the same club. Or they are protecting him.
Or maybe they set a trap for him, I don't know.
Well, the trap is for him to go out to change. But what we are saying is, for this single man with 22 billion, in cash that he has accumulated through corruption, fraud of the system. My worry is the ordinary man in Yobe, in Tulotuloa.
That's in Yunusari local government, right?
Who has got only 1,000 naira as capital or his wealth. For him to lose that 1,000, I would rather allow the system to be cheated by one individual, because that man's money is legitimate money.
That 1,000.
That 1,000. Our party, our support base are the ordinary people, young men and women, the so-called Talakawa. And in Yobe, I want to say, that there are places that is more than 200 kilometers from any bank, meaning that there are banks only in Gashua, Nguru, Potiskum, and Damaturu in the whole of Yobe.
Oh my God.
So you have to travel.
So when we talk about Yunusari, Yusufari, Machina,
go to Kanama or up to the border with Damasak in Borno. That is about 100 kilometers to Gaidam. From Gaidam to Gashua is 105 kilometers. From Gaidam to Damaturu is 175 kilometers. To Potiskum about 200 kilometers. So how does he bring that capital of 1,000 or 2,000 to exchange?
It wouldn't even transport him.
It wouldn't even transport him.
And that is his capital base.
And that is his capital. In fact, somebody with 1,000 naira in such communities is a rich man.
Because of the level of poverty?
Of course. That is where you have to remove your thatched house every year, because before 12 calendar months, the sand dunes have overtaken the roof. And human beings live there. No electricity, no water, no nothing. They don't even know that there is government. And you make that person lose his 1,000 naira. If he curses you,
oh my God, it will go.
God will accept his prayers. So it is him that is our problem, not the one with 22 billion naira stacked in his house.
But that money is stacked by that person. Is he looking for second term?
It doesn't matter what term he's looking for. Whether it is his first term or second term, at least it's a stolen money. And the securities know. EFCC know. They know. Why can't they raid that place and take away the money? At least the explanation he will give is what the late Sabo Bakinzo did when they got 5 million naira inside a fridge in his house. And they took him to the tribunal that they found 5 million naira in his in government house. And his argument is that the money is government money and it was found in government house.
Sabo Bakinzo, I think for our young people who watch us,
the former governor of Kano, 1983.
Exactly.
That is 40 years ago. So, what our official position in NNPP is that, first, we beg the federal government, the president, because everything, don't mind the MFLA, he's just an errand boy of the president.
But people are just calling him out.
No, I congratulate him.
Who?
MFLA.
But people are cursing him.
Well, because they don't understand. Where does the box stop?
At the table of the president?
Is it the first time the president is doing this? Was MFLA there in 1984 when he did it? This is his brainchild.
Engineer, I want to get this clear, because Nigerians are saying that it was actually a dummy. Even members of the party, APC, they are saying that it was actually a dummy of MFLA and a cabal. We'll go to cabal later.
No,
in the
MFLA is a servant of the president. MFLA dare not even redesign the currency without an explicit permission and expression from the president. After all, the president has said he approved.
Yeah, but a dummy was sold to him.
No, nobody could have. That is his brain thinking. No dummy.
I'm hearing this for the first time.
Well, because people are cowards and they are sycophants.
Now, are you saying this because of your relationship in court with him, the president?
Everybody knows that it is Buhari's work, not MFLA.
So the claim by APC, by governors that MFLA...
It's because they don't want to attack the president. They don't want to attack the message. They are attacking the messenger.
But why are they doing that?
Well, because it's the Gajeren Danga.
That is the short wall.
Short wall is the easiest place to jump to the other side. So that's not the issue.
Okay.
What is the position of the NNPP? Our presidential candidate and leader has said that, look, he's begging Mr. President, for the sake of that man with 1,000 naira,
yes,
in a faraway Tulo, let them extend the time. And thank God the president has listened to his plea, because he was the first person to speak, the first candidate, the first party to speak, and extended by 10 days. We said that is not enough. Then what should be done? He said, look, let everybody that has money that has not been changed, because there are no new currencies, let him go to the bank, tender that money, the old one, and let him be given receipt that he deposited so much at so time. And let him go. Whenever the currency is available, the new one, let him come and collect his money, because there is no need for an ordinary man to lose his legitimate earnings. God will not forgive Nigeria if that happens. Listen to me, I have not finished.
Okay.
He said, in the alternative, that this is not done, when he becomes president, and inshallah, unless there is something unusual, unless there is manipulation, unless there is rigging, if there is a free, fair, and transparent election, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso will win the election on the 25th of February 2023.
I have a follow-up question on that.
You can ask me, let me conclude.
Yeah.
You can ask me anything under the sun.
Good.
If he wins on the 30th of March, May,
yeah, that's
when he's sworn in on the 29th,
yes,
let everybody go to the bank and get his money exchanged.
He will print and give.
Now we are modifying that position.
Okay.
What is the modification? The modification is that even if you ask them to go to the bank and deposit and get a receipt, how does the man in Tuloa get to a bank? That is a $1 million question.
Yeah.
It is impossible. So if it is impossible, let government today, let Buhari, without extending the time, instruct all local governments across the country to open their treasury and take monies from their citizens, legitimate money, not 1 million, 10,000, 50,000, maximum 500,000 in the village. If you get the richest man, it's 1 million. Let them collect and give them receipt. And let the local governments carry that money and deposit with the bank.
Okay.
Such that nobody should be made to lose his legitimate money.
Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. I'm Hamza Idris. Tonight on the program, we are joined by Senator Yusuf, the chairman of Senate Committee on Special Duties. Senator Yusuf was also a front-runner in the race for the Taraba governorship, which was allegedly won by Senator Emmanuel Bacha as the APC candidate in the state. Senator Yusuf and another contender, David Kente, went to various courts to seek redress. And at the end of the day, the Apex Court canceled the primaries and directed that a fresh one be conducted. These and other issues will be the focus of our discussion tonight. Welcome to the program, distinguished Senator.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here again.
Yes, we had you all the time, and it was actually a delight. We will go on a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Yes, distinguished, once again, welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, a serious thing happened at the Supreme Court. Last week, the sacking of the gubernatorial candidate in court of Taraba State. Did that, got to you as a surprise, or you actually expected it?
Well, it's not a surprise. This is what we have been telling the whole world. There was no primary conducted in Taraba by APC. So, I mean, it is not as a surprise. I would have been surprised if, the Supreme Court justices, if my lordships would have said there was actually primaries in Taraba.
So the Supreme Court spoke your mind of sort?
Of course. They confirmed not just my mind, they confirmed the reality and the truth of what has happened in Taraba.
Yes, I know we discussed many technical issues around and the political scheming around it, but honestly, our viewers will like to, because whenever there is this judgment, especially at the apex court, it takes many people by surprise. Just a few days ago, we had the case of Senator Ahmed Lawal, the Senate president, which was decided, and it generated a lot of interest in the polity.
Yeah.
Certain cases considered or decided by lower courts up to appeal court, then you see a different scenario at the Supreme Court. Why are we having some of these things?
Well, thank you. You see, a case depends on the facts. It also depends on the ability of the counsel, and it also depends on how successful processing of the case, is. You see, a lot of people will think that once, the reality outside is the same thing as the reality inside the court. There are two different things. There are two different ball games.
Wow.
Because there are facts to be considered, there are procedures to be considered, there are evidences to be considered, and even, the capability of presentation, of not just, briefs, but also, the verbal presentation, between the councils and the lordships. So many things, do happen, so many things can happen, which may be contrary to the expectation, of the people outside the court.
Yes, I know that you went to High Court, just like Kente, because I have to keep making comparisons.
Yeah.
At what level did you actually give up of sorts?
You see, when the incidents occurred on the 26th of May, 2022, and once there's such an incident, you have 14 days to file your case in a federal high court. That is a constitutional requirement.
Okay.
So on the 14th day was the day I filed, at the federal high court, Abuja.
Okay.
And why did I wait that? I was thinking that, there will be discussion, negotiation, between us and the party to give the party room.
Okay, along the line.
Along the line. But the party, saw that, this, in their own wisdom, that look, they do not need to call us, or they do not to call me, as the case may be, to sit down and discuss on what has happened. So I went to court. At least that is the only instrument I have at my disposal to protect my own fundamental right, to prove to the world that, I'm going to the court to prove to the world that there was no primaries. And I got it at the trial court.
Yes. And when you go to the trial court, of course, the other case instituted by David Kente, went to appeal.
Yes, David too got it at the trial court.
Yes.
It's just that the two cases went to court of appeal.
Yes.
One in Yola and then one in Abuja. So we lost. Both of us lost at the court of appeal.
Exactly.
So and then we say, well, we are not deterred. There's also room to go to Supreme Court. So we went to Supreme Court.
Okay, you also went to the Supreme Court?
Of course.
But the case that was first decided, I think last week, was that
on the 1st of February, the case, that of David Kente, versus, Emmanuel Bacha, INEC, and APC, was decided on the 1st of February, and the appeal succeeds.
Because many people thought at the appeal court you gave up, you didn't go to...
No, I went to Supreme Court.
You are processing it quietly.
Well, you see, sometimes, making too much noise in Nigeria, has a lot of problems and a lot of, repercussions. You have to give a lot of explanation. So I quietly went, and, In fact, my own was tabled, and they are going to do the adoption of the briefs, on the 13th of this month, and probably we may be lucky, and the lordships may decide to say, well, they give their judgment upon the adoption of the briefs of the councils.
Yeah, meaning there will be likely 2 Supreme Court judgments.
Yes, there will certainly be.
Will it not make the whole issue more complicated, or you think it's okay?
Well, I don't know whether it will be more complicated. The current one, it is not my own case. Yes. I don't want to delve too much on it. But
exactly.
The court order,
and it may be even contentious.
Yes, that has been rolled out. Yes. Chief David Kente is his case. And I think he should be in a better position to know exactly, what has been ordered to be done by the Supreme Court. However, I'm waiting for my own, to come next Monday, which is 13th of February.
Something piqued my interest at the beginning of our conversation. Yeah. You said after what happened, in May, you gave room for the party to do the needful.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because by virtue of your education or being a legislator, maybe you believe in the sanctity of political party. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, I believe, the political party should be in a position to dialogue with its members, to dialogue with people who they have entered contract with to contest. So, but since, the party felt that, they are not in a position to do that, obviously one will have to go to court to seek redress as to our own, assumption, not assumption, but saying that there was no primaries and everybody knew there wasn't, and we go to the court of law to prove our case. And by the grace of God, we are almost there.
So some of these party leaders, do they look at you in the eye after they do some of these things? Do they really have the courage to look at you in the eyes when you meet at, party events and all that?
Well, my brother, this is politics, and especially it is Nigerian politics, what I call the jiggery-pokery of politics. Backstabbing, front stabbing left, right, and center, and then, So for me, I think it's normal. I've been in one court case or the other as far back as 2015.
Wow.
So I mean, it has become part of me, to have a redress or to respond to addresses. So.
And should this be part of our democracy? Almost everything going to the court.
Certainly, it shouldn't. That is why in the amendment of the Electoral Act, of 2022, what we said was that primaries are supposed to be the internal affairs of our political parties.
Yes.
However, the people working in political parties, some of them have some mindsets, some of them abuse their own conscience, and instead of them, to do the right thing, some of them go into a lot of infractions, to do what they think, they want. It is not what, they go contrary, to the constitution of the party, contrary to the guidelines of the party, contrary to even, the acts, even contrary to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yes.
It is surprising why such things will happen, but, it is happening. So that is why, my own, support that, we should enforce, the provisions of the Electoral Act and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the people who feel that, they can do whatever they want with impunity and therefore go scot-free. This time, nobody will go scot-free because the law is there, and my lordships, in the various levels of the courts, are doing wonderful jobs, So I believe that is the only way we can move forward, to teach people, to tell them that what you are doing is not right. You must do the right thing. If you don't, in fact, there are repercussions.
Some people are saying you politicians are actually overstretching the judges, because you see judges at all levels, State High Court, Federal High Court, Court of Appeal, up to Supreme Court. All the justices, they are somehow overstretched, attending to political litigations at the detriment of other serious matters that will actually foster unity and economic development.
Unfortunately, that is true. And why the stretch? Because politically, like I said, people use, do whatever they feel they can do. It is not right. I mean, I sometimes sympathize with my lordships. They are doing, some wonderful jobs, and they are being stretched, especially those at the Supreme Court. Some of them, are elders. Some of them, have years, and some of them may not have, a good frame of health, and the rest. So it is of concern, or it should be of concern to every Nigerian, that we should, as much as possible, ask INEC, which has the responsibility, of managing, our political parties in this country, to sit up. INEC is not sitting up.
Oh.
INEC is not sitting up.
Where is their problem?
Their problem is that they are refusing to execute, the provisions of the Act, and waiting for people to go to court until the court asks them to execute the provisions of their own Act. It shouldn't be. Once you are given an Act, use that Act, enforce what the powers that is given to you. INEC is not exercising the powers given to it under the 2022 Electoral Act. I said it before, I said it again.
And I have serious interest on this, because some people were alleging that you, the legislators, senators, members of the House of Reps, actually hurriedly put the Electoral Act, the amendment, you hurriedly put it together, and you left behind so many holes that is actually haunting some of you now. But I can see you now saying the problem is not there, it's actually...
Yes, it's yes and no. My teacher in secondary school used to say, a student who is determined to fail an exam, no matter what you do, that student will fail an exam. So even if you give him a pass mark, he will fail an exam. So in making a law, there's no law that is foolproof. There's no law that is 100% right. So it continuously, being modified, being improved here and there, almost any time you do that. So I'm not saying that 100%, is that of INEC, but yes, the law, every law will have a loophole. That is natural.
Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. I'm Hamza Idris. Less than 3 weeks to the 2023 general elections, Nigerians are still finding it difficult to access Naira notes, as ATMs across the country remain flooded with citizens who spend long hours queuing, hoping to get some fiscal cash to go about their businesses. Although the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria have continuously vowed to put measures in place to ensure the situation improves, Nigerians are yet to feel any improvement. We had also visited some ATMs within the Federal Capital Territory to hear what Nigerians are saying about the situation. Take a look at this.
We have been coming, we'll come, we go call, we'll not go see money. As you can see, I'm just coming back from work with my load. I've been inside here for almost 2 hours. There's no money. I went to Access Bank, they were giving me 50 naira. What am I going to do with 50 naira?
The CBN keeps telling us that the banks have the money to dispense, but if you go to banks, even on the counter, you cannot get. This morning I was inside this bank here, UBA here, to withdraw money. We're told they have just 50 naira.
They says money not there for the ATM. So we are still lining up and sitting down. See some people, they are on ground, sitting down to waiting for manna for heaven to come down.
Some people sleep in the ATM from morning till night, every day. Like yesterday I was here to take some cash. I waited to almost 1 hour and some minutes. I didn't even have the cash. I went back. Today I'm here again. There's nothing is happening here. Nothing. Like nothing.
This morning I came in to withdraw. we're told we can only get 3,000 naira from the bank.
Maximum?
Yes, maximum, because that they are out of cash.
If you look around my streets, a lot of POS shop has been shut down because of lack of cash. And most times, we that do this POS, it's very difficult for us to get cash using the ATM. Like I myself here, I have account with Providos Bank. And Providos Bank is the only bank that has been consistent in keeping money in their ATM machine.
And 3 states, Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara, had dragged the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria to the Supreme Court, praying it to restrain the CBN from implementing its February 10th deadline for the use of the old 200, 500, and 1,000 naira notes as legal tender. However, a 7-man panel of the Supreme Court, led by Justice John Okoro, in a unanimous ruling yesterday, granted an interim injunction restraining the federal government, CBN, and commercial banks from implementing the February 10 deadline for the all notes. The court further held that the government, CBN, and commercial banks must not continue with the deadline pending the determination of a notice irrespective of the issue on February 15. We are now joined by Jamilu Mohammed, an economic analyst and also an author. Also have in the studio Shehu Atta. He is a member of the Stakeholders Relations Directorate of the Tinubu Shetima Presidential Campaign Council. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We deliberately invited you, who really, had a lot of interest in economy and Atta. You are from the political perspective, and your side of the campaign is actually against what is happening.
Yes.
That's why we brought the two of you. But I will start with you. The Supreme Court judgment of yesterday, will it make any difference?
Sure, it should. Since it is a court decision, I believe the authorities will abide by that rule. Actually, this February 10th deadline is not feasible with the current conditions running. So I think it should. The only issue here is President Muhammadu Buhari has asked that he should be given up to February 10th, and he has now called an emergency Council of State meeting for the same February 10th.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to marry this. That means he is already sending a signal that his own February 10th deadline is not feasible for him to have put things in order. If it were possible to meet that February 10th deadline, then he wouldn't have called that Council of State meeting for the same day, because those issues are going to be discussed on that February 10th again.
Okay, that is the
Yes.
president.
Yes.
Probably he will subject the whole matter to them.
To scrutiny by
Exactly.
the Council of State.
But don't you think a serious matter of this nature ought to have been referred to the Council of State before even the decision?
Yes, I don't even see the Council of State as the right body to have.
Okay, even though it is advisory, of course.
It's advisory. You see, I think President Muhammadu Buhari's economic team is weak and basically ineffective. Let me put it that way. I'm sorry to say that.
That is, even if there is one in practice, of course, we have.
They should have
like
been. In fact, we have had a government in this country where you have an economic think tank or an economic team of a single person or 2 people. I remember during the Abacha days, I think there were only 2 people dictating the economy of this country. It was Sam Aluko and the Minister of Finance then, what's his name, Antoniani.
But were they getting it right?
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, during that period, we had an inflation throughout that period. We had an inflation of 3%. And I think history is still judging that whatever it is, we never had that kind of crisis we have now at hand. So I think the problem is even with putting together an economic team. To
a vibrant economic team.
This is an economic crisis.
Yes.
Not just a political crisis. And you are now referring it to a very large body of council of states.
Because you have former heads of states, former presidents.
You see, the ideas there are not...
Former chief justices.
Almost...
Governors.
Governors,
it's
everybody there.
Body, yeah.
You know, people that would not have even brought in expert advice there. The whole team will look at it from a political point of view. That's one big problem with... I am not very comfortable with that Council of State meeting that will take place on Friday.
To take decision on
this particular issue.
Okay, let me hear it. What is your take when you people heard of the Supreme Court decision to, issue stay of execution?
Yeah, to us, it's a good step in the right direction. When the pronouncement was made yesterday, it gives a positive signal that at the end of, because the rain is beating everybody. And our presidential candidate came out openly to say this policy is anti-Nigerians, and we blame Emefiele for this, because he's the technical person involved here, and if he is honorable, he should tender his resignation. Everybody is bearing the brunt of his decision. He is the technical person. He's a veteran banker. You cannot say that before you make a policy decision. As a veteran banker, he knows what the banking infrastructural capacity is to take, whether you are going to migrate over a country, we have a country of over 200 million people. And we know that our economy is largely driven by is cash driven. And from record, they say over 60% of Nigerians does not even have a bank account. And all of a sudden, you mopped up the cash in the society, you forced everybody online, the banking infrastructure cannot support this. If he has any iota of dignity in him, he should resign from that position. He should tender his resignation, because he pushed everybody into this condition. He's the one that is supposed to advise the president. He's in charge of CBN. He should tender his resignation later. And that's the most honorable thing for him to do.
But let me take it to Jamilu. Look, he's saying CBN governor. Do you think that he has
he's responsible for it
to do all these things without actually the consent of the president?
You see, the president hired him, or if the president met him there, the president met him as a subordinate, as an expert. If he is not an expert, he shouldn't be there. So it's not about the consent of the president. He's not only on that seat as an employee of the president, an employee of the president, and at an advisory status. That is not. He is the governor of the central bank, an executive governor. There are certain things that are statutory, even that even the president has no power over them. These things are seamlessly done. The president would simply just have to accept because he's the president there, but these things work. So the whole responsibility is on Godwin Emefiele.
Okay, we have laid the foundation of the conversation. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll continue. Viewers, please don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. We laid the foundation for the conversation before we went for this short break. Mr. Jamilu, when we were young, of course, you rarely hear of Supreme Court, because they rarely, consider cases, because they are trashed at appeal court, high court, and all that. But these days, almost every other day, you see the Supreme Court taking decisions, and from there, you can only submit your case to God, right? Is it that our values have changed, that we don't really solve some issues, politics, economy, and all that, that we just have to refer it to the Supreme Court?
A multiplicity of issues there. Some of them are what you have said. We also have the issues of population. There's population growth, and we have not actually enlarged the systems. Actually, before, I have seen a court in Medina where they told me that the court sits once a quarter. That's
wow.
once.
That's in Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia.
Just once.
Just once a quarter. And they normally sit to revise all issues and then write a report. Because most of the cases that come, they come for arbitration outside the formal sitting of the court. They arbitrate outside, and then everybody is okay with that, and then they go. They said rarely, maybe in a year, they have about 3-4 cases that would have to have a formal sitting in the court.
All the rest are decided.
All the rest are decided outside the chambers. So what it means is that the judicial system is working perfectly. You see, you have to first of all prevent an offense or a crime happening.
Okay. Or infraction, as in this case.
Of course. As in the CBN case. You don't have to allow something to happen so that it should come to the courts. It is still within the ambit of the judiciary to prevent crimes and offenses before they even happen. So that will reduce the load on the courts. And then apart from that, there is also the issue of having population and then not expanding the staffing of the judiciary. So that also is another problem. Then also the issues of value change. You see, there are these things that even don't have to come to court. We have our traditional institutions back there.
Yeah.
We used to have robust family systems where even within a quarter in a town, there's a way to solve certain problems without coming to the court. Okay, let's come to the political aspect. You have the political parties. Why would the political parties not have robust internal dispute resolution mechanisms within them? Of course, they are there formally, so to say, but their activity,
they are really weak.
They are weak
and vulnerable.
We call to question their own activities. Otherwise, I know certain political parties where certain things happen. The internal dispute resolution mechanism, even if you seek, you won't even get it. They won't even see it. Or if they see it, you see a kind of bias
and
manipulations. So all these things are putting a lot of weight on the courts. That's why it has to work from trial courts to appeal courts to Supreme Courts. I think it's something that our social fabric is the main problem, of course. It has to change.
That's a wrap on today's program. You must do well to collect your permanent voter's card and make a commitment to vote in the forthcoming election to guarantee a better future for all of us. Thanks for watching, and do join us again. I'm Hamza Idris.